Kahalo Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great milestone of well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. I'm gonna let this play again, a little TikTok video, and then we'll get a couple scriptures, and that'll be it. I don't know if I'm gonna pause in between and get them, or we'll see. Let's roll. Let's get it.
Leo Vaughn is going viral for his deteriorating medical condition inside an Alabama state prison system that had to remove his internal intestines because they were starving him to death. Castilio's treatment, by the way, is the norm for all inmates, where both men and women that are incarcerated are treated like slaves in order to make cheap furniture and license plates and like shit they can sell on Shopify. Like, I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. The purpose of the Alabama prison system is to incarcerate as many people as possible for free labor. Disguised as a work training program, Alabama gets paid on both ends. On the one side,
now, not only is that the case for Alabama, but that's also the case for Arizona, and a lot of these other places that have private prisons, which he's gonna go into later on in this quick video, in this quick TikTok. But a lot of these places, they take them over to rural areas, or they'll take, because usually it's Jake locked up, and they'll take Jake from, let's say he from Georgia or something like that, or he from somewhere in the South. They will take him and they will put him in a jail somewhere in Iowa or Montana, in these little small towns, and boost the numbers of that town, and then in turn create jobs and create a need. So the fabric of this society is on the back of Jacob, and let's get some real quick. We're gonna come back to Psalms for sure. We really gonna come back to Psalms. But Jeremiah 2 and 14, straight to the point. Actually, let's go to 13, because that highlights why we're in the predicament that we're in as a nation. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. So you forged your own way. Basically they said, to hell with what you set out. Heavenly Father, perfect. Your perfect way. We're going to do it this way. And heavily throughout the Bible, you can see it's heavily influenced by what the heathen round about us were doing. Verse 14, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Right? And then you also, there's a vision where it says, I saw slaves on horses and princes walking, and that is, it's just turned, this world is turned upside down, because this is our personal hell. But yours is coming.
it takes money from the government in order to accommodate inmates, but on the other hand, it uses inmates as slave labor to make stuff to sell to other prisons.
Look at $300 for that chair, and we're talking upwards of 200 to 250% profit. Look at the prices of this.
Big box retailer. That's an office chair. They're selling office chairs. After Castilio's emergency surgery went viral, inmates in 6 different prisons decided to go on strike. They're not making shit for free anymore. And what did the wardens do? They decided to starve them too. So now
you're gonna starve them. And look, hey, I pray, I know we finna go through some things, but one of the things I fear the most, is, and I've did videos on it, is one of the judgments is famine, and another one is being mauled by an animal. I've been attacked. I was almost killed as a kid from, we just talking about a regular pit bull in the neighborhood, let alone a 4, 5, 6, 700-pound beast that you can't negotiate with. Let's get one more. Micah. Let's see. Stupid, shall I count them pure with the wicked balances of the bag, with the bag of deceitful weights? The point's in 15, but I don't know if I want to read up. Let's see. Therefore, also will I make thee sick in smiting thee. I make thee desolate because of thy sins. That's 13. Thou shalt eat, but not be satisfied. In thy casting down, thou shalt be in the midst of thee. And thou shalt take hold, but thou shalt not deliver. So yeah, let me go to 14. Let me just go straight to the point in 15. So it says, thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap. Thou shalt tread on the olives, but thou shalt not anoint thee with oil and sweet wines, but shall not drink. So again, everything that we've done, because you had us in actual slavery back then, and you can obviously see that we, even the many inventions that Jakes have created for this place, they could not, they couldn't even take credit for. It was given to their so-called master for the credit. So everything about this nation was on the back of Jake, whether it be northern or southern kingdom, or northern and southern kingdom, should I say. It was built on the backs of our people. And we have done many things, even in the book of Deuteronomy. Let me go to it right here. I got my sword, my physical sword open right here. Even in Deuteronomy, if you go to 28 and you read through those curses, I mean, it's clear as day. And one of them, 20, let's see, 20, Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to go to 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdom of the earth. The carcass shall be meat unto you. All the fowls of the air shall, and the beasts of the earth shall no man fray. Okay, no, that's not what I'm looking. I'm looking for something in particular, and I'm trying to just use the sword and find it on my own without having to just, you got to be proficient with your sword. You got to be proficient with your weapon. Let's see. Pressed. On 29, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. All right. I'll try to come back to it, or if it comes to me, I'll put it in the description box. But the point is, everything our people, our ancestors have built, we have not reaped the benefit of. And you can, even the land that they've stolen, they build in Alabama. University of Alabama, most of that was built on stolen land. So in every which way this place was built, they prospered off of us. But that's all right.
They're getting 2 meals a day of this instead of 3. Okay, I exaggerated. Sometimes they get this. And for all the people that are like, oh, I did a little bit of time, my food wasn't that much better than the pictures, just a reminder, they've cut their meals from 3 to 2. 30% of their calories are taken out, and only one of our meals in the morning was cold. The rest of them were hot, like we got enough calories to get us over to 2,000. They're now consuming less than 1,000 every day. Like, for fuck's sake, that's just the ends of the bread. Families of inmates have noticed the deteriorating health conditions of their loved ones, and when they complained, this is how the state responded.
Canceling all inmate visitation this weekend, or urging prisoners to update their loved ones with the change. Well, the prisoner stoppages actually are taking place at about half a dozen men's prisons across Alabama. Yesterday, the Department of Corrections announced it is also limiting the number of daily meals for inmates to 2. It claims both the meal limits and visitation cancellation are not retaliation for the strike, but a byproduct of not having enough staff to handle those services without the necessary inmate workers.
Unrighteous decrees. And they're so stupid that you gonna starve out your slave. The ones that you need to keep this thing going, you gonna starve them out. But I guess it doesn't matter, because they'll just use the prison industrial complex and with this music and keep funneling Jake into prison. You get rid of one, or one dies, you just pull another one in. So I guess it don't even matter.
Translation, we depend on slave labor so that we can use the profits to hire people to feed them. There's over 122 for-profit prisons in the state of Alabama, and none of them can be investigated for human rights abuses because they're private, and this is the reason why Alabama's so hard up to turn a profit with slave labor. The living conditions for the men and women stuck inside the Alabama prison system were so bad that Wall Street didn't even want to touch them. They didn't care if they were turning a profit. They're like, nah, we're not risking the PR. And there were publicly traded companies like Core Civics that used to own these Alabama prisons that were like, oh man, you guys are taking this shit too far. We're out of here. Like, for fuck's sake, when George Bush Sr. has to file a 126-page commission on how badly women are getting raped inside your prison system, shit's bad, man. Shit, I'm actually going out of order. There was so much corruption. I forgot to tell you that all the executives use the money that's supposed to be used to feed the inmates towards like cars and rent and like legal fees. Here, just to close out on how Alabama is codependent on...
And they will find a legal loophole around, I mean, say if they even get brought up on anything like this, they will find a legal loophole around the misuse of funds. Why? Because he frameth mischief by law.
On slave labor and overcrowding their prisons. They used the COVID relief funds that they got from 2021 to build 2 new prisons because Wall Street backed out of building them.
Alabama, which happens to have the highest death rate from coronavirus in the United States, is planning to use federally provided coronavirus relief funds to construct prisons.
Castillo Vaughn is going viral.
All right, but that's okay. That's okay. And I only say it's okay. Because just as the Lord said all the bad that was going to happen has happened and is happening. Hey, you just wait. You just keep racking up that tab. You keep racking up that tab. Let's go to Isaiah 61. The point is, I think, around the 4th verse. Maybe. I'm going to jump around, but I really want Isaiah 61. So let's start at the top. The Spirit of the Lord God, the Spirit of Yahweh power is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. And I only read that, and I'm not talking about Jake that's in jail. There could be elect in the jail, or there could be elect on their way to jail. You never know. But in this instance, it is, those of us who are doing our best to live according to how the scriptures say to live. And you're made to pray. If you want to be righteous, you're made to pray. And we are, as a people, in bondage to this day. We are, as a people, in bondage. Verse 2. I'm sorry, let me finish verse 1. And the opening of the prisons to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. And, those that are in the house of mourning, we're in the right spirit. But the mirth is going to cease for those who are, who are foolishly in the house of mirth in these times, because the roles are going to flip. We'll be laughing, Abaratasa, Lord willing, we'll be laughing, and you're going to be crying. And that is the 2/3 and these heathen as well. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Let's see, and I want to skip down. And stranger. We'll skip down to 5. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. So it flipped it. So before, what we got was we were going to plant and not eat. And now we don't have to plant and we will eat. The roles are going to be flipped. It's your turn, right? Give unto them double, right? But ye shall be named priests of the Lord, and men shall call you ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall you boast yourselves, as Esau Edom is doing unto us right now. Verse 7, for your shame you shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. Call Halor Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And while we on that note, how about these are Yahweh Shai's words too. These are Yahweh Shai's words too. 25, but the point in 27. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end. And I pray that not only myself, but those of you that are listening and learning and doing your best and are sincere, I pray that the Lord remembers mercy in the day of his wrath. I pray that he smiles upon you and sees that, whatever work that you were doing, that you did it and that you are saved. I truly pray that for those of us who are sincere, because I do believe through faith that the Lord sees this, because his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, and his angels are watching and making a report. So anything good you do, but just as the good, anything bad you do is being reported. All right, so let me just keep reading before I go off on a tangent. He that overcometh and keepeth my work to the end, to him I will give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my father. So Yahweh gave that unto Yahushai, and Yahushai is, what is that? Not diminishing, but distributing. He's distributing that blessing unto his elect, those 144,000. Also, one of my favorites, because when it comes to flipping this whole thing on its head, straight to the point. I'm going to go to 11. And that day will I raise up, this is Amos 9 and 11. And that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David, because that is what the kingdom is about. And the kingdom will be a functioning society. And just like this society functions on slave labor and righteousness, the kingdom will function on that as well. In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. That is when the kingdom is coming. So Yahweh, then Yahushai, then King David, right, the house of David, with the 144,000 and that mixed multitude on down. That is that's where the king, that is the kingdom. I kind of lost my train of thought on what I was trying to say, but the hierarchy is what is highlighting. I want to couple that. Let's get Psalms 18. So you see, keep that in mind, right? Let me get 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord, that doth this. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, and him that soweth the seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and the hills shall melt. He's going to bring again, and I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. You see it flipped on his head. And they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them, and I will plant them upon their land. So that's another thing, you being pulled out of Babylon the Great and not partaking in that lake of fire, and being put back in the land, taking out those stony hearts, being changed and given that heart of flesh, indicative of the new covenant, because now you cannot go off. You have been changed into a higher being, and it is impossible for you to go off. And if you don't go off, you don't get kicked out the land. You don't get kicked out the land, you rule forever. Boom. From Yahweh to Yahushai to King David. What a story. Psalms. What a beautifully written story. So I want to pair that, Psalms 18, and we're going to get 40 through 44. Thou hast given me the necks of mine enemies. This is David. This is a psalm of David, because remember, he's going to restore it as in the days of old. So let's see what David was doing back in the gap. That I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them. Even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out, and the dirt of the streets, as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. Thou hast made me the head of the heathen, a people whom I know, whom I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. We'll get 47. It is Yahweh that avenges me and subdueth the people under me. And that is why the Lord lifted up David, because David didn't trust in his own strength. He always said that it was the Lord that did this. He delivered me from my enemies. Yea, thou lifted me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. And we understand all well who the violent man is. And then I think we can end it there. I think we'll end it there. Right? Because you can also look in 2 Samuel chapter 8, and it talks about how David set garrisons in Edom. And a garrison is, well, what Babylon the Great's army has done there. Everywhere they go, they don't leave. And they kind of take over that area. So you do with that information what you will. But with that being said, I pray that you were edified, and our time is very close. Our time is near, where this whole thing of them, our hell will be turned into paradise, and their paradise will be turned into their hell, and we're going to render unto them double. So with that being said, Shalom.